guys, welcome back to my page. I just want to give you a heads up that I am going to be speaking extremely quietly. I'm also going to heavily make cuts in this video because I'm speaking slow and it's going to take me a little longer to get my message out. If you're wondering, I'm not feeling well today for a few different reasons, and instead of speaking with a loud voice and hurting my head, I am just going to be very calm, which I normally am. Okay, so if you're new here, wait, let me fix my hair. Okay, maybe it's fixed. Well, if you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm a Christian life coach and content creator. And if you're not new here, then welcome back and thank you for your support. So for this video for today, I wanted to share with you guys a message about guarding your reputation, but also who is influencing you and staying true to your character. The biggest part of our character is obviously to be Christ-like, and what the Bible says about us and what God says about our identity. So at least we have a guideline, a very big guideline of how we should be acting. I wanted to share just the importance of this, of who you're looking towards, whether as a mentor or who you're looking up to or who is shaping your character, and to be really careful with that and to be really mindful too of your reputation. By the way, a huge truck is coming by right now. There's construction that just started right beside our building, so this is fun. I think that in the Christian realm, if we do something to quote unquote ruin our reputation, there at least should be forgiveness. And I actually read this in the book the other day, that there is a difference between forgiveness and trust. So trust takes time to build, but forgiveness should be given right away. However, that's not how everyone operates, not even all Christians, and certainly not all the world. And even if people do forgive us for our actions, trust still has to be built again regarding our reputation. So with that being said, I wanted to share a couple stories with you guys, embarrassing stories from my past, of how I learned this the hard way when I was young and in my youth. And I don't know if I've shared this before. It's not even a big deal, but I just don't know if I've shared this before. So sorry if you've heard this story a long time ago. I might have shared it like years ago. I don't know. Okay, so when I was 12 in elementary school, leading up to then, I was always like a very sweet kid. I was shy, but I was like a really sweet, genuine person. Then when I was 12, I started getting like popular in school, in elementary school. And I think it's just because I started doing my hair and makeup, which is a whole other story of how that was a very wrong message that I received when I was young. Was like, oh, boys don't like you and you're not really popular, but now that you look pretty, people want to be your friend and boys want to date you, and now you're popular. So that was a bad message in and of itself that I received, and that's a whole other story. So I remember being like popular when I was 12, and I think I wasn't like the typical popular girl because I was genuinely very sweet and very nice. And then I feel like people kind of commented on that, like almost like I was like too humble or something. It just seemed as if people were kind of saying that, like, I don't know how to describe this, but almost like you're not taking advantage of the position that you're in. And I know this just sounds so weird because it's like you're 12, but when you're 12, it's still like it's your whole world to you, right? Like when we think of kids and we think their problems or whatever they're going through are not a big deal because they're so small. I mean, because the kids are small, so the problems are small. But that's not how children see it. Whatever's going on is your whole world. So this is my whole world for me at the time, with school and friends and popularity. And I just felt like I was getting this impression constantly that like I wasn't taking advantage of the position that I was in because I had popularity. And so I remember a friend introducing to me this book by Paris Hilton, and I really like idolized Paris Hilton when I was 12 years old. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to leave that there. I was reading her book when I was 12. Basically, I don't even remember, but from what I would take from it, it was kind of like trying to say, like just teaching you to be, in my opinion, teaching you to be like entitled and like a princess basically, and how to like captivate a room and how to, I don't even remember. I mean, I read this when I was 12. I don't even remember what was in it, but I just remember the way that it was shaping my brain, and it was basically teaching me, and maybe wasn't trying to intentionally do this, but to basically be like conceited and people should cater to you or different things like that. It just was the opposite of humility. It was the opposite of being a servant for others. It was the opposite of what Jesus would do. It was the opposite of what the Bible would teach. And I don't necessarily remember, but basically I started acting differently. And this really humble heart that I used to have was not there anymore. I just started acting, more entitled. And even though I don't think it changed the kindness of my heart, like I still was kind, but the way that I acted outwardly was like, oh, I have to act popular, I have to act cool, I have to act this way. And so I remember one of my good friends at the time, who was a guy, I think he was noticing my behavior, and this is really wise as a 12-year-old to say, but I remember he was not happy with me, and he said to me like, you're different, and I really want you to think about who you actually are. And I remember being so confused by him saying that, because I was like, what do you mean, who am I? Like, I'm the same person, I'm not any different. Looking back, that's like a very, very wise thing for him to have said, and even to have noticed. Anyways, what ended up happening is a couple of the friends in the friend group ended up making up these rumors about me and saying that like I gossiped about all of my friends and that I was like really mean and all these different things, which actually wasn't true. I actually didn't do any of the things that were in this rumor, but because of how my character started to be portrayed as this like conceited girl that was just like, it was even my mannerisms and stuff, right? That everyone believed it. And so that ruined my reputation and my character because of how I was choosing to act and who I was choosing to mimic and to be like, and listening to what the world was saying to be the opposite of what the gospel teaches. Not that I was reading the Bible at this age. And I honestly feel like it was like from a scene of Mean Girls, with Lindsay Lohan being Katie, and just the way that like she came from these like humble roots. I think she was from South Africa or Africa in the movie, but she came from these like humble roots, and she seemed to be like a kind girl in the movie, and then she had to pretend to be plastic, but then she actually became plastic. And then anyways, I'm not even going to go into that example, but that was like pretty much what happened. And I look back, because it wasn't just that book, it was everything else that I was watching and listening to. And I look back to the things that I was reading and watching, which obviously my parents didn't even know what was in the books that I was reading and watching and the music that I was listening to. But I think of like what was shaping my mind at that age. And I don't know if you guys have watched the show Gossip Girl. I actually haven't watched the show, but I was like the original reading all the books, because it was a novel first, a series of novels, and it was my favorite book ever, Gossip Girl. The content in that, again, just a big no for any age to be reading, but especially like a 12-year-old to be reading. And again, that shaped my desires, my attitude, how I was acting. It shaped who was influencing me. Or like I remember when I was 12, the movie 13 came out. And I watched that movie with my friend, and like we literally were like, this is us, like we are the girls from 13, and like the stuff that I mean, it wasn't to the extreme of what they were doing at that age, but it's just like what in the world, like all of these things that were shaping my mind. And for a lot of you listening to this, if you're the same age as me, maybe you were also exposed to these books, TV shows, and the music. I'm not going to go into the music and just these negative influences. And here's what I want to say about that right now, because I know I've talked a lot about on this channel about like, who are you following on social media? What are you watching? What shows on Netflix are you watching? I really just want to take 1 second to heavily emphasize this. I personally have seen way too many professing Christians, even Christians that have a big platform, who are watching and reading and promoting things that I'm like, what in the world? Like just certain shows on Netflix and certain music artists and certain books, and also like watching horror movies. Like I'm just like, what in the world? And I am sorry if you're listening to this and you do all of these things, but hopefully this will be a conviction. But like watching horror movies or even reading those like romance novels, but they're all about like lust and things like that. It's like again, as a 12-year-old, it's like, what are you doing? But as an adult who is a Christian, who is a professing Christian, and also who has a platform, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's just kindergarten. It's just, I shouldn't even have to be speaking about it, you know? This might convict some people today. I'm not done the message yet, but this might convict some people today as to like what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're allowing in. I have to watch myself with this when it comes to Instagram, my Explore page. I need to clean up my Explore page. Like the stuff that's on there is like totally immodest outfits and just like bikini pictures just everywhere. And sometimes I click on them. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm like, why am I looking at this? Because this is just causing comparison. So why am I doing this to myself? And I know if I wouldn't want like my husband to look at what I'm looking at, or I wouldn't want someone from my church to be sitting behind me and I'm like going through my Explore page and I'm like clicking on this girl wearing a little crop top and whatever, why am I looking at it? Because no one's watching? That's my question. But the reason I'm talking about who's influencing you is because it's developing and changing your character, and that's going to affect also how people see you, and it affects our reputation. And a reputation is something that we want to be really careful with. And I want to share this message because I'm happy that when I was 12, this happened to me. Because had this happened to me now, at this age, it would be very hard to start over again. And it's still possible too. So I'm not saying that if you've had a situation with your reputation, it's still possible to recover. But I'm just saying that I'm happy that I learned that lesson when I was 12, when it was kind of easier to clean up again. Even though I still did other embarrassing things later on in my life and in my 20s that I strongly regret, that ruined my reputation in ways. But I would say when I was 12, this was a big one. So I just wanted to also share this with maybe if you're a young girl watching, a young guy watching. It really doesn't matter what age, but I'm just saying I think when we're younger, sometimes we're more prone to make certain mistakes or decisions that are going to change or shape our reputation and the way other people view us. And so with that being said, I wanted to read a couple of scriptures about reputation. All right, so this is from Titus 2, verses 6-8. In the same way, encourage the young men to live wisely, and you yourself must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind. Let everything you do reflect the integrity and seriousness of your teaching. Teach the truth so that your teaching can't be criticized. Then those who oppose us will be ashamed and have nothing bad to say about us. Ecclesiastes 10 verses 1, as dead flies cause even a bottle of perfume to stink, so a little foolishness spoils great wisdom and honor. 1 Peter 2 verses 12, be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then, even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior, and they will give honor to God when he judges the world. Matthew 5 verses 16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Proverbs 22 verses 1, a good name is more desirable than great wealth, respect is better than silver or gold. Ecclesiastes 7 verses 1. A good reputation is more valuable than costly perfume, and the day you die is better than the day you are born. So I just want to encourage you, whatever stage you're at in life, to protect your reputation. And the way that you protect your reputation is simple. You allow the Lord to refine your character so that when your character is truly who you really are, then you don't even need to work very hard at all at protecting your reputation, because your character is always shining through. So it's different if you have not worked on your character, or you have not allowed the Lord to mature you and work on your character, because then you are going to have to be like watching everything you do regarding your reputation. But then that's not your true reputation. Then it's just kind of a lie and masking it anyways. So like I was saying, how that ties in together is pretty much allowing the Lord always to sanctify you and to refine you and to develop your character and to mature you and to allow the Lord to lead you in all of those ways. And there's so many ways that could be done, which I won't go into that today for the time's sake. And being mindful of, aside from the Lord and the Bible influencing you, what else is influencing you, and what else are you allowing in to shape and change your character. Maybe you're not a believer and you're watching this, or maybe you're a new believer, and this is a great lesson. But I think I'm being a bit more firm with people who have been Christians for a long time. And I just think there are far too many Christians who have not submitted to the Lord to allow Him to refine them and go through the sanctification process, and have just been okay with saying, yeah, I'm a Christian, but there's no fruit in their life and their character does not show that. And so again, I wouldn't push that on someone who is not a believer or who is a brand new believer. But I would say make sure you're open to the Lord doing that, so that you can start early and not accept the Lord and 20 years later you're exactly the same as how you were before, with bad habits and poor character and different types of things. And as you guys can probably tell, this is not a video of condemnation. This is me speaking the truth in love. And I was reading in a book the other day, and it was just saying about how like true friends will tell their friend the truth in love. So it's not rudeness, but it's actually cruel to not bring correction. And so, yeah, that's my message for today. I got through it even with this exhaustion looming over me right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I pray that this video blesses you, and I just pray that the Holy Spirit will speak to you personally through this message, however you need to hear this message. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for liking this video, subscribing, commenting, sharing to our Patreons, students, clients, followers, subscribers, commenters, prayer warriors. Thank you guys so much for keeping Adam and I in your prayers. We are still walking through fire and the wilderness, but we do see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so your prayers really, really mean a lot. And the other thing I just wanted to say is make sure you check out all the links below if you're interested in working with a Christian life coach. If you're looking to get Christian life coaching and mentoring, make sure that you check the link out below. Within those links, it has my coaching website. Also, if you're interested in becoming a Christian life coach, enrollment for NowBloom Academy is going to be opening September of 2023. If you're hearing this video in the future, just check the link to see what the next enrollment is going to be. And then also Covered by Grace, which is my Christian clothing line with my friend Natasha. The link to that is there as well. And we're going to be having some new merch that will be coming out this year. I will show you guys. This is from our latest collection. I don't know why I've been obsessed with the color brown lately. I don't know. It's just been my thing. Just been loving it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you and bless you, and see you next week. Bye.